As you said, I'm responsible for mainly communication and information policies at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We used to call it also public diplomacy, but we don't anymore because it becomes very long. So, but actually, I'm still responsible of public diplomacy, but not only me, because the public diplomacy is that broad that we couldn't do in one only center everything we're actually doing. So, and as such, I'm also responsible of the planning to try to communicate and to use public diplomacy tools to present our review that we are passing in July at the United Nations headquarters as the country. It's our first review since 2015, and as such, I have organized a very, very broad group of experts from all ministries to try to convene all together on a common report and a common action plan from now till July. So, if you're in Spain, you will probably hear of us here or there. So, but as an introduction, since I have to leave, as Ambassador Gil Casares said, I'm going to read what I have here, written as a way of introduction, and then with all the experts that are probably closer than me to the sustainable goals are going to give you much more information. So, in a way, public diplomacy and international development emerge from a shared geopolitical and conceptual context. This is the context of a more involved and aware society. Public diplomacy is the public interactive dimension of diplomacy, which is not only global in nature, but also involves a multitude of actors and networks. This new diplomacy impacts the way foreign ministries do business. In the past few decades, public diplomacy has been widely seen as a transparent means by which a sovereign country communicates with publics in other countries, aimed at informing and influencing audiences overseas for the purpose of promoting the national interests and advancing its foreign policy goals. In this traditional view, public diplomacy is seen as an integral part of a state-to-state diplomacy. Today, we have a broader conception of public diplomacy. This view aims to capture the emerging trends in international relations, where a range of non-state actors with some standing in world politics, supranational organizations, subnational actors, non-governmental organizations, and even private companies communicate and engage meaningfully with foreign publics and thereby develop and promote public diplomacy policies and practices of their own. The democratization of information through new media and communication technology as a new force that has greatly empowered non-state actors and elevated their role and legitimacy in international politics. As a result, a new public diplomacy is seen as taking place in a system of mutually beneficial relations that is no longer state-centric, but composed of multiple actors and networks operating in a fluid global environment of new issues and contexts. The SDGs are also known as Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Transforming our world may sound utopian, but is the only way to fulfill these goals that we have given ourselves. As we all know, the SDGs are an upgraded version of the Millennium Development Goals. Back then, we thought in terms of partnerships and participation. Public diplomacy has shifted its debates toward dialogue, engagement, and collaboration. It is crystal clear that such an ambitious goal needs the participation of everyone, and that's when public diplomacy comes in. The SDGs have been established through a process of social consultation. Our societies have been involved from the beginning. We have all become aware of the need for changes. It is safe to say that almost everyone understands that our model is no longer sustainable. In that sense, The first goal of public diplomacy is this issue, raising awareness is already partially accomplished. Implementing the SDG is a process which involves the transformation of key elements of our social and economic model. The SDGs cover a broad range of social and economic development issues, but this include poverty, hunger, health, education, climate change, gender equality, water, sanitation, energy, urbanization, environment, and social justice. This can only be successful with the full participation of state and non-state actors. Public diplomacy is vital in engaging a broad array of stakeholders to implement the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. The ambition level for 2030, only 12 years ahead, is high as are the stakes. So public diplomacy needs to pull out all the stops in order to convince and engage everyone in this process.